this is a race for rough and tumble off-road vehicles, not refined sports cars. But surprisingly, the Porsches became the first sports cars to win. While racing put the company in the headlines, some of the developments for the track found their way into the street cars. The turbocharged racing engines gave rise to blisteringly fast turbo Carreras in 1975. These 160 mph cars stood out with wide flared fenders, fat tires and spoilers. They were the fastest production cars on the road. By the early 1980s, Ferry felt it was time to turn the company over to a new management team. This group of designers and engineers began to explore new versions of the 911. They even started to experiment with four-wheel drive. In 1989, their design program led to what some of the motoring press dubbed the best Porsche ever. The $75,000 Carrera 4 had a new enclosed chassis that minimized wind resistance and a revolutionary four-wheel drive system coupled to a 240 horsepower 3.6-litre motor. The aerodynamic body and undercarriage easily slid through the wind as the speedometer reached 160 miles per hour. While high-powered Porsches were revving up pulses, a smaller and inexpensive throwback to the early days of sports cars started to turn heads in 1989, the Mazda MX-5, or Miata, as it was known in the States. Mazda hit a nerve with this car. It was affordable, costing under $20,000, and fun to drive. It didn't take extraordinary skill to handle these cars, but knowledgeable drivers could also have fun with them. Miata fever spread. Soon, more fun little roadsters from several manufacturers appeared on the streets. It was a craze. Porsche's management decided they needed their own entry-level roadster. They came up with the Porsche 986, the Boxster. It was an instant hit. It was released in Europe in late 1996 and in the US at the LA Auto Show in January of 1997. The car's shape was inspired by the early Type 356 and the classic 550 Spyders. The heart of the Boxster is a six-cylinder Boxer engine. While it's mid-engined, the designers positioned it to make the car well-balanced yet agile. Sales were brisk for the $40,000 plus cars, but some reviewers and customers complained that it didn't have enough power. Porsche reacted by beefing up the motor with 25 more horsepower and did some other tweaking to the engine that took about a second off the 0 to 60 time. They called the brawnier car the Boxster S. The increased speed and other options pushed the price up about $10,000, but Porsche fans did not seem to be fazed. However, people inside the company knew its reputation still rested on the flagship 911. Work began on an all-new car for the 21st century. There had not been a complete redesign of its most popular classic since 1963. The car had 35 years of history and legions of loyal buyers that had to be satisfied. The designer's challenge was to produce a car that was in keeping with its heritage, but also a car ready for the next millennium. With everything riding on public reaction, the result was presented to the public in 1997. Visually, it was unmistakably a Porsche 911, and people responded to the modern makeover. The use of a water-cooled rather than the traditional air-cooled engine shocked some diehards, but they were won over by the performance. It was all Porsche. The new 911 grew into a full line of vehicles, including a turbo, a Targa, and a GT. The primary model included a top-down cabriolet that gave Porsche owners that classic open-top feel. It was a balance between luxury and dynamic driving. The 315 horsepower engine was the most powerful, normally aspirated model ever offered. Its output was enhanced with new electronics that helped to increase power while reducing emissions. The new engine propelled the car from 0 to 60 in just 5 seconds. To keep these wickedly fast cars under control, the four-wheel independent suspension was augmented by an onboard computer stability management system. Loss of tyre grip at the front or rear triggers an automatic application of braking to individual wheels or alters engine power to keep things steady. For those drivers who wanted a little more dynamic handling capability, the Carrera 4S was created with an all-wheel drive system. While the 911 was still the image leader, the company couldn't ignore the popularity of sports utility vehicles. And in 2003, the Cayenne, an SUV with a name taken from a hot chili pepper, joined the Porsche stable. Porsche said the spicy 450 horsepower vehicle was the first SUV that could truly be described as sporty. Its zesty V8 engine propelled it from 0 to 60 in a little over 5 seconds. The Cayenne brought Porsche a more rounded product lineup, a wider range for its fans to enjoy. Porsche won't just rely on an SUV to spice things up. There's a commitment to creating new, innovative and fast sports cars for Porsche fans. They have to, since for some owners, Porsche has become a way of life. Owners' clubs have sprouted up all over the world. Weekend rallies, performance driving schools and organized trips that take advantage of the car's capabilities have created an international Porsche community. Collectors may argue endlessly about which model is the ultimate expression of the Porsche heritage. But whatever their opinion, what is clear is that Porsche created a legacy of uncommon and spirited cars, designed by people who love cars, for people who love driving cars. This passion has made Porsche a true and enduring automotive legend.